That is Ethan Trinh. I am a first-year doctoral student at the middle and secondary education at Coatlicue State University. So my research interest is to focus on the queer transnationals and the queer youth of color. I'm also interested in, learning about meditation. I am developing, my theory about queer working meditation. So like my background is from Vietnam, and I'm like the Vietnamese immigrants. I came to the US just like recently for 5 years. And like during the time that I transitioned from Vietnam to the US, so I've been struggling a lot, especially in terms of like identity and language and cultures. So in Vietnam, I worked as a teacher, as an English as a second language teacher in Vietnam. But then when I moved to the US, it's just different. The environment is different, the classroom is different, the student is different. So I have to find a different way to actually, not assimilate, but I try to acculturate the way that, my cultural identity, my gender identity to American culture, you know. So because I identify myself as queer, and then because I reflect on my personal identity, that I think that there's someone out there who will feel the same as I did, and I really want to work with them. And then to make sure that, the voices of those people like me, especially coming from outside of the country, will have a space to discuss and to talk about. And I really want to work with like queer Asian American and queer Asian immigrants, because uh, we just like do not have a space that we can collaborate, we can share, we can talk. And is that something that inspired me to do this work? Actually, I taught that students, and that is kind of like an, after school program where I worked as a graduate research assistant at Coatlicue State University. And, it's just like something that spoke a lot to me when, the student just like kept silent in the classroom, and, she um, wanted to quit the program just because she's being bullied by her classmates and because of her gender identity. But there should have the different way to approach to write the paper. So I don't want to take her voice away. So that's why I bring the voice, like her voice, into the articles. And I really want to create, because as I mentioned earlier, so the people like us, like the queer people, do not have like a space. So I wanted to create a space. That's why I create like a circle, in my article. And I really want to have the readers and or the audience to have or to see or to feel, like they were, at the circle, in the circle with us, with the students, with the teachers. And I want the readers to see the different perspective, a different precision, as well as positionality of, either like the teachers, the students, the queer, all of us. So that's why it come up with me with that way, that approach to write the article. I would say that is the empathy. If you read my article, you will see that it is, I use the metaphor of the circle as well as the regime, where the loneliness and the self-hatred, and uh, the feeling, the separation, the oppression of the queer people, especially queer people of color or queer youth of color, under the heteronormative system. So I want the readers to take away from my article is to share the empathy, And then I visualize how you share the empathy by giving a hug to the students, because that's what I did to my student when they left the classroom. I give them, each of them a hug, and then, keep telling them, hey, come back to school tomorrow, and then we're gonna have fun, So it's just like a very, I would say, normal, or just like a very simple um, action, but actually it gives, people a belief that, someone out there who believe in them, who love them wholeheartedly. And that's why it gives me like a lot of passion to convey the message to the reader, that just give a hug and then you will see how much different that you can make to people.